Welcome to Wealthy Mind, where we talk about all things finances, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the surprising.
Hello and welcome to Wealthy Mind. I am Misty Rose Gold, International Success Coach, and here at Wealthy Mind, we love to help you create and maintain a wealthy mind. Today, I have with me Anthony Spark. Hi, Anthony.
Hello, Misty. Thanks so much for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You have a cool name.
Thank you. So do you.
Thanks. It makes me think of Tony's like Stark, right? It's Stark,
Yeah, it's
right?
not the worst in many ways to be confused with.
Definitely. Love the name. So we both have cool names. We got that out of the way.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Both
Great.
chosen. Both chosen.
Right? I
Mm-hmm.
know. It's so cool. Yes, I did choose my last name for everybody who's listening. I legally changed it, so it's on my driver's license.
Mm. Same,
Nice. I love
same.
that for us. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, would you please share with the audience what do you do?
Yeah. So I had a 20-year, or I have had a 20 years experience in network marketing. That's where I started.
Hmm.
I started in the
Hmm.
Amway business right before I was 18. And that's been great. I've been doing that for 20 years, allowed me to leave my full-time job at 25 and my wife at 29. So we have a big team of people there, and we're, one of the top performers in the industry. But over the last few years, being my passion in network marketing was always coaching. You know,
Mm.
selling, hey, I love sales and I'm happy to do that, but that wasn't really the passion as much as making a difference and helping people grow financially, helping work on their identity and their self-image and to be able to accomplish the things in life that they truly want to accomplish. So in doing that for 20 years there, I started my coaching brand, Spark a Change Coaching, that was similar, same ideology, it's the same thing whether you're growing this type of business or that type of business. The mechanical
Mm.
parts, the artistic expertise part is different, but all the mindsets and all the principles are pretty much the same.
Hmm.
So over the last few years, I've been working with a whole bunch of great people. It's been a real blessing. I love doing it. So that's been really great. So that's mainly what I do is success coaching, similar to you, and helping
Hmm.
people with their identity, helping people understand where they are and to build a fulfilling life while they succeed. Most people they're either they like the life part, but they're struggling financially, or they got the finances figured out and they're struggling in the more important part, their relationships and
Hmm.
everything else. So
Hmm.
it's how do we have that achievement without saying not dull that sword. It's not that we have to be less successful, but it requires a lot of intentionality to have great
Hmm.
relationships and have a great marriage if that's your desire, or be with your kids, or have the emotional and physical health while we're running a company and while we're growing, whether it be corporate or entrepreneurship.
Mm. I agree. And my success coaching started with a network marketing business as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I hear that a
So
lot.
yeah, I had other people on other people's teams reach
Nice.
out to me and say, Misty, help me. How do you do this? So it was of
Yeah.
no benefit to me, absolutely zero benefit to me
Right.
directly at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, I was with Mary Kay. That was my first legit business. I had a bunch before that
Oh, cool.
I won't claim all of them publicly. But
Nice. Nice.
but Mary Kay, yeah, it was the foundation for my excellence as a business owner and as a success coach. So
Yeah.
twofold, I had other Mary Kay representatives that were like, help, you are so good at this, help me. And then the foundation of business that they teach is
Yeah.
phenomenal. And I'm
Oh, for
sure
sure.
that you've gotten that with yours too.
Yeah.
So I encourage people, even if you don't want to sell the products, become a Mary Kay representative, male or female, just to get the fundamental business
Sure.
education because it is amazing.
Yeah.
And it set the tone for all of the success that I have now because if I didn't have those basics in place, there's no way that I would be able to manage everything I
Right.
manage now within my business. Like, would not happen. So
Right.
Um, we have so much in common. It's so
We
cool.
do. We do. Yeah, I agree. I think that network marketing is one of the best bridges from learning the basics of business without having a
Mhm.
high investment, without having all of the pressures, without having to risk the amount of time and the effort. It's a really great starting point, and it could become a great business. It has been for me. It's great. That's most of our income. It's been one phenomenal. But regardless of whether you build it big or not, it is one of the best introductions to
Hmm.
business and all the different skills necessary in any industry that you're in. You also end up with
Hmm.
skills that are usually better than most other industries because of the nature of that type of business.
Definitely. And you have to put yourself out there. You have to
Yep.
break through all of your sales barriers. Like
Yep.
it was sad because I had to sell the business.
Mm.
I became allergic to the products.
Oh no.
Yeah, so super sad, but it's okay. Like
Yeah. Things
you do
happen.
what you have to do. So,
Things
um,
happen.
I did not fulfill my dreams with that business, but that's okay. Like I'm living the dreams, just
Yeah.
a different one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Not we don't always the way we expect to get there isn't always the same, but if we commit to the vision that we have and we have that intention in place, sometimes it's the way of the winding staircase, as Trevor Blake likes to say.
Hmm. Or the spaghetti that's all over the place. Like,
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. You
yeah.
got to be committed to an outcome, but how you get there sometimes changes.
I would say it always changes.
Yeah, most of the time. Most of the time. And if it doesn't change, it's different than you expected it to be.
It's always different. Like, that's why I set my goals loosely. The outcome
Hmm.
is very, very loose because
Yeah.
I know that the path is going to be different than what I ever think. And I know that
Mm,
it's going to work out somehow, but I just don't know exactly how it's going to play out. So,
right.
um, I would say 9 times out of 10, it's extremely different from anything we could ever imagine. We just have to
Yeah.
set ourselves in motion
Right.
and look at the steps that are presenting themselves each day, follow those steps, and
Right.
then see where it leads. It's probably going to lead somewhere that's like standing next to what the vision was or the goal was.
Totally.
And
Totally.
maybe better. It might be better than what we envisioned, which
You
is
don't know.
part of the journey. So,
Yeah. It's also who you become in the pursuit of it. A lot of people miss that. When you put
mhm.
all your goals or your intentions around outcomes, then you might not have that exact outcome. But if it's about who you become, if it's about the effort you're putting in place, if it's about the things you're doing, the skills you're acquiring, the character you're developing, you really can't ever lose.
Mhm. That's true. The journey is so important.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that there's a lot of destination syndrome in the business community.
For sure. And it never fixes the problems you think it's going to fix.
Yep.
We always we always over-index the things that we don't have, thinking it's going to fulfill things it never will. And it's not that it doesn't do anything, but having a lot of money doesn't nearly accomplish and fix what most people that don't have it think it's going to. It might fix this much, but it certainly doesn't fix the amount that they're usually intending it to.
Correct. And then the problem begins of, oh, let's go for a bigger number. The bigger number will fix it.
Hmm.
Not true.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's like The Gap and the Gain. Really good book. Always chasing the
Mm.
horizon. Rather than looking at how far you've come, you're always looking at how far you aren't. And as soon as you get to that horizon, it's moved down the road anyway. It's a
Hmm.
very, very joyless way to live.
Definitely. Well, I'm all about fulfillment. I think you know that about me. And hopefully
Yeah.
by this time, my audience knows that too. Uh, but I'm so proud of
Mm,
myself and where
yeah.
I've come from and what I've created over decades and what I'm
Yeah.
still creating. We're launching the new mastermind tomorrow. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you get to be a part of it. I'm so excited.
Honored.
Um, I'm just, I'm proud of what I've done and
Yeah.
really savoring the moment because this is one of those mountain peaks where I get to
Yeah.
sit the boulder on top of the mountain.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And you
then
should be.
when I'm ready, I'll work on the next peak.
That's it. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of times when people haven't maybe had things going the way they expected or they haven't achieved the things that they want, they fail to hear those types of things. Right. They're like, well, that's so great for you. So great for you guys when it's you need to be proud of what you've done and you need to
Mhm.
make sure that you climb your mountain. So a lot of the times people will look at someone when they either haven't done something, they don't believe in themselves, and they put themselves in a position to compare rather than it to be inspiration that some you could do it too, you know?
Hmm.
So I think everyone needs to find what they're proud of because I don't care where you're at. There's something you did right. There's something.
Oh,
Start
yeah.
there.
And it took me being proud of me at every stage,
Yeah.
every single day, every single stage of the process and
Mm.
the business experiences, the journey that I've had. It's not just, hey, we're starting another mastermind tomorrow. Ooh, I'm super proud of me. No, it's been the whole
Yeah.
time for decades of practicing consistently being proud of myself, but also
Right.
consistently putting in the work. There are no overnight successes, even though
Never.
people perceive it that way, but it's just not true.
Yeah. And there's no 10,000, 20,000, $50,000 course. There's no coach that can fix your life. Only we can do that. And it takes time and it takes
Hmm.
effort. They could be a part of the strategy. They can give you inspiration. They can give you accountability. They can help you with your mentality. They can maybe encourage you to do the thing you know you need to do. But it doesn't change the fact that only we can change our life. And it's
Hmm.
impossible to beat yourself up to success. A lot of people think if they're just so hard on themselves and beat themselves up. And you can, but it's kind of like the dark side. As you draw off of it, you get scarier and scarier on the inside, or the outside, depending.
Yes, yes. You can beat yourself to success, but it is going to be miserable. And
Totally.
you mentioned the dark side, which is something I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
today. How do we use our dark side to help us in business?
Yeah. Well, I think it first starts with accepting that we have a dark side. A lot of times
Mm,
in society and culture, people want to pretend like they don't. They want to pretend like they are one dimension when you can't take the other side of the coin off. So people, they will be inspired by someone's confidence and their willingness to lead, but then they're upset that they maybe don't have as much empathy. Or the person that's really empathetic, they're like, "Oh, this person's such a nice person," but then they'll put them down for their lack of their maybe
mm,
ambition. And part of the challenge is if we don't accept all the parts of ourselves and we try to bury it, like Carl Jung says, you end up having these explosions that come out because you can't lock half of you in. And I think culturally, you can see a lot of that kind of stuff happening with all different people, whether it be people their marriage explodes or all sorts of levels to it. So I think the
mhm,
first part is being willing to accept and be honest about who you are.
mm,
What are your weaknesses? Where are you? Then don't be the I shouldn't be like that. Like I have certain weaknesses. I can pretend like I don't have them, or I can honor that I have them and keep
mhm,
myself out of situations and environments that are going to cause me to make a bad choice. So I think that when we talk about, particularly in business, it is a spiritual kind of game. It takes a lot of
mhm,
fortitude, takes a lot of consistency, and all of these different challenges with our emotions, our emotional health, our lack of congruence, or our ability to be self actualized, they end up being replicated in the teams and the businesses, just like they get replicated in families if you don't deal with this stuff when you're a parent. So the first thing, and it can sometimes sound not as productive to the working type that all they do is they work and they try to avoid the thinking and the reflection. But at some time, that ticket's going to come up. And I think it really needs to start with being willing to be honest about who we are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And
mhm.
on the other end of whatever that piece of you, because everyone has these different pieces, that piece of you that you don't like, almost definitely your best traits on the other side of that coin. So you're trying to get rid of the rose without the thorn or vice versa. And you're
Mhm.
putting yourself in, well, that's part of it. So it's learning to start to deal with that, to put systems in place and to honor that. And if you honor it, you don't end up being in such a uncontrolled state where you try to hide or suppress the emotions in that part of yourself.
Yes. Now, because I practice lots of meditation and self-awareness and self-development and healing and growth, and I've done it for
Yeah.
decades, I know how to use my darkness to help
Right.
me. I
Right.
do. So there's a situation that happened last week where this guy was like, he's one of those people where all he does is try to control everything and
Right.
everyone around him. He's super, super, super toxic CEO, like uber
Mm-hmm.
toxic. he asked me to potentially come in and help with one of his C-suite people.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped on a call with him that day and I'm like, all right, what's going on from your perspective? Because I don't always trust the perspective,
Right.
but what's going on from your perspective? And all of my people skills started pouring out. And I was like, well, we have some issues going on between the two of you. So, number one, I would not coach her by herself. I would coach you guys together and then
Yeah.
separate because this is a relationship issue that's going on
Right.
between the two of you. And then there's a lot of people pleasing going on here. And
Mm.
she hasn't been empowered to
Right.
step into the energy that you want her in, which is very confident, very like,
Right.
right? But I realized very quickly that he's causing it. He's causing
Mm-hmm.
it because he's surrounding himself with people pleasers and he's a
Right.
control freak, toxic control freak. Like
Yep.
in business, we have to steer the ship. We just
Yep.
do. But you can be healthy about it or you can be toxic. And this guy is uber toxic. So I started picking up on that when we were in our little discovery call. And I was like, oh boy. So I told him, I was like, the only way that I would consider this engagement is if I meet her in person. By the way, I'm very picky about my female clients because they have to be like legit serious business owners and they can't be
Mm-hmm.
super flighty. Like I'm even more picky with my women than I am with my guys. So I told him that, and I was like, how that will play out is that I come to your office, we sit down and chat, the two of us, the three of us in the same room, and then you get up and leave and give
Mm-hmm.
me some time with her by myself because I need to see the dynamic between the two
Totally.
of you.
Totally.
Everything I said was so spot on. Like it triggered this guy like left and right, right? Because
Yeah.
he knows that he can't control me and
Right.
he was losing all sense of power because of it. So he was like, okay, well, I'm checking out other coaches. And I was like, all right, cool. Good luck with that. Awesome. He was like,
Yeah.
would you connect me with three of your clients in email? I said, sure. So as soon as we got off the call, I sent him three of my clients. I sent him my growth strategies program, my exit
Mm-hmm.
strategies program. I said, here's enough about me. You don't need anything more than this. I already like solved a lot of the stuff in that 30
Mm-hmm.
minute conversation. So
Right.
or identified it in order to solve it, but he didn't like what I said. So his response was very, very transactional. And he was like, well, I don't trust that you can take my company to 5 million and 40 employees and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, hell no. My
Mm-hmm.
dark side came out. My dark side was like, oh, let's go. I am
Mm.
about to fuck you up in a good way.
Yeah.
So literally, I did. He did not ask me to take his company from where it's at to 5 million, which I can easily do. He didn't ask for that. He asked me to fix a relationship issue.
Right. Right.
And I'm just like,
Yeah. It's a bait and switch.
oh boy. Okay. So super insecure, super controlling. What
Right.
it comes down to, people, I'm not judging this person, but what it comes down to is that he was never valued as a human being.
Sure. Sure.
Probably a very abusive or non-existent childhood
Yep.
understood, right? The less we are valued as human beings, the more we can turn into assholes like that. We all
It's
have the
true.
potential to turn into an asshole like that. All of us. So I'm not judging him, but I
Right.
do use discernment and I do use wisdom and my people skills to figure things out. So my response to him was, I'm sorry, but what you're asking for right now is a very transactional coach, and a transactional coach is not going to be able to solve your people issue
Right.
because I know most of the transactional coaches in Denver, and they will readily admit to me, Misty, I fail at the people side. I don't
Right.
know people. I don't
It's
understand
different.
people. This is why I stick to numbers. This is why I stick to black and white systems. This is why I stick to the things that I know.
Right.
And they use me as a resource. And I told this guy in the email, I broke it down for him. I was like, listen, I know my industry extremely well. We
Mm.
all talk. They all have
Yeah.
me as a resource because they will all tell you that they don't have the people skills.
Right.
At the end of the day, which is the core of business, is people, right?
Yes.
So my darkness came out and was like, you know what? I'm about to shove this 2x4 upside your head and
Mm-hmm.
upside your rear end, like, and I'm going to do it in a very professional, non-emotional way.
Mm.
And I did.
Mm.
And I told him, I was like, I'm removing myself from the situation.
Yeah.
If I can think of somebody that could actually fulfill the desires you want, I'll send them your way. But I can't because
Right.
what he's looking for somebody that's going to coddle his control
Correct.
freak and be a
Correct.
people pleaser. I'm like, you can find a coach that's a people pleaser, but it's not me. That's not going to be an effective person, right? So at the end of the day, he's a bully, and I stood up to a bully, and I used my darkness to stand up to a bully, and I did it without
Right.
emotion. It was just facts.
Yep.
And even in the email, I told him, I said, there is no way that I am trying to convince you. I am simply educating you on my industry.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
No, thank you.
I use my darkness to push back against people like that. And I could feel, after all this played out, I could feel his gratitude because I'm the only one that has stood up to him.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times people, if you have the ability to be confrontational, that doesn't mean that you are having to yell at people and make everything a problem, but it means that when a confrontation does come up, you are uniquely situated to handle it and go toe to
Hmm.
toe.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, a lot of people in that position, they either don't understand or they will not admit to the power dynamics that happen. And they fail to recognize that it doesn't matter what the subordinate says. You're paying their paycheck, you're paying them a lot of money. It doesn't matter if they say they agree. When you don't create the proper environment for them to be able to disagree, which requires a lot more intentionality than the natural compliance that's going to happen based on group psychology that's just 101, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of people that are not willing to say what they mean. And they'll say it in private, but as soon as push comes to shove and their personal livelihood, their income, their reputation, whatever perks they're being given or threatened, they very often are now going to change their tune and they're going to say the opposite thing. That's going to be the more popular thing. And it's going to be more agreed upon by whomever's in charge. But those types of people very rarely can even see that that's happening because
Hmm.
when we live in the construct of the narrative that we have, so it becomes a difficult thing to challenge that narrative if someone's unwilling to let it go.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'm just, I'm enjoying this conversation with you. So I'm just kind of listening. I'm just sitting back and I'm like, I like listening to Anthony speak.
Same, same. I also, as soon as I identify people like that, that would be a no, thank you. I can't. I've worked and spent time with lots of amazing people, and
Hmm.
I've had a lot of toxic people in my life. And for a long time, I would fall into the trap of understanding and therefore empathizing with why that
Mm,
person is in that position
mm,
and then intellectualizing the kind of trauma that those people create in your life.
mm,
So, I can look at people in my family, people that I've encountered through life, different relationships in a bunch of different scenarios. And just because you can understand and empathize why that person was hurt, like whether it be, people in my family, I can see that the abuse that you went through and I can see the things that happened. And I can
mm,
very clearly, my heart breaks for the way your mom or this person treated you and the traumas in your life. But that does not disregard the actual emotional impact of those people on us. So just because we can understand where they're coming from and we can empathize with why they are without judgment does not mean that we are required to stay in proximity or to fix any of those people. It's not our
I
job.
totally agree with you. And being a natural born empath, I had to learn that too. I had to
Mm,
learn that, you know what? It's not my place because this person isn't coachable.
correct.
If
Totally.
he were coachable and came at me with respect, which he didn't because he tried to make it
Right.
seem like I had zero value to him.
He's trying to use you as a proxy for this narrative and the
Hmm.
situation he wants. He wants to pay you to parrot whatever he's saying and demonize
Right.
whomever is within, regardless of the facts and the truth. And he wants to pay you to be his puppet.
Yeah, no, thank you. And
No
I
thanks. I'm with you.
I am not desperate for money, so I set
Right.
my boundaries from the very beginning. And he didn't like that either because he's used to being
Right.
able to pay people and manipulate them.
Right.
Yeah. So what I told myself afterward was not my circus, not my monkeys. I did the
Right.
entire world a favor and
Yeah.
I confronted a bully.
Yep.
That confrontation was done in such a way that it was very effective.
Mm-hmm.
I did my piece and I'm out.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm with you. I'm
Because
with you.
I could feel the ripple effect for generations to come. If that man shifted 10% because of
Sure.
me standing up to him, it was worth it, but not
Mm-hmm.
beyond that. I'm not going to subject myself to somebody that's not coachable.
No, I also think in the end, you seem more hopeful. I find it to be very unlikely anything changed, but I don't think that that's the key. If it does, that's a bonus. It's that we hold our own boundaries and our own value, regardless of the impact for the other person. Because as soon as we let somebody devalue us or buy
Mm,
us, the
mm,
problem and the thing that's guaranteed is the loss of the personal self respect and self esteem. And that's the thing. That's the definite and the most important in the equation, in my
hmm.
opinion.
Yeah, it is important. The impact that I had on his world is important, but also being able to maintain my personal value and integrity and
Yeah.
say, no, no, you are essentially a very small fish in a massive
Yes.
pond.
Yes.
And the reality is, my value doesn't rest with you. It doesn't rest with people
Right.
who want to pay me. And I felt the the pull to basically sell my soul to this person because
Right.
if I were to take his money,
Mm-hmm.
I would be giving up my entire sovereignty
Correct.
and I
Correct.
would be essentially selling my soul, which I don't do. And I'm like, I will turn down any a type of money if it requires me giving away my autonomy, my sovereignty, or selling my soul. Like I'm not doing it.
Amen. I'm with you.
Hmm.
Not if I've done that, it is absolutely not worth it. And it's not worth it on the banner of anything, relationship, longevity, family. It's not worth it. The price that you pay is always greater.
And the price that everybody else pays because of
Yeah.
how much influence and how much reach I have. Like
Yeah.
that one decision could have been detrimental to thousands of people.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I won't play that game. So,
No.
um, yeah, it was nice. It was an opportunity to reinforce my self-value and my self-worth.
Yeah, I'm with you. Good for you.
Mm. Hmm. Yep. And I'm grateful that I have the people skills that I do because I'm like, if I didn't, this guy, like
Mm-hmm.
he's good. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really powerful, which is he's not using his power in the right way.
Right.
Unfortunately, his darkness is not helping him. It's making
No.
him money,
Right.
but it's not helping him. He's not fulfilled. He's miserable. He doesn't feel valued himself. He's simply projecting everything on me
Correct.
and everyone else around him that's inside of himself.
Yeah. And that projection is much more dangerous than most people realize because there's only
Oh,
so long that you can subject yourself to that
mhm,
projection till when you start to question your own inner voice and sanity and
mhm,
you're unsure if their projection is actually the reality.
correct. And this guy is so powerful that his energy and the nastiness that was coming from him started to like push my
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
And I'm like, anyone who makes me question my value has to go away. I don't question my
Right.
value. Like, what kind of sorcery is this?
Yeah, for sure. And he'll end up with somebody that's willing to just say, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
And make everybody else the problem around him.
exactly. You nailed it. So, and I know that's what he's going to do. And he's going to end up with a coach that does everything he tells her to do.
Yeah. Right.
Uh, and he was specifically looking for a female coach, which I was like,
Mm.
hmm.
Yeah, that's odd. I think that I mean, if you're looking for a specific reason, okay, I can maybe see, but potentially a flag for sure. I don't care unless we're talking about something that is 100% across or unique to gender lines. I mean, we're talking maybe relationship or something. I don't know if the gender of your coach really should make that big of a difference.
Yeah. So, what I picked up on after that was that he thinks that women are easier to control than men.
Sure, sure,
So, he's seeking out a female coach because he
right.
likes to control everybody around him.
Yep, yep. Tracks.
Hmm. But I've also explored the depths of all of the darkness in me, all of the wounds, all the trauma, all the crap that I've
Mm,
been through in life.
yeah,
So it helps me to be able to identify the darkness in other people and not feel scared and
Yes.
not to feel threatened by it.
Right. Right.
It's when you're not willing to take a look at you as a whole person,
Yes.
that's when you're like, nope, can't deal with this. Nope, checking out. Nope, I'm afraid of other people's darkness. And
It's true.
I haven't always been this way because I've had to explore so much of my own darkness and then just learn about people, like what's at the root of his issues. And that's
Right.
what I got down to with myself was in meditation, it just hit me, this person doesn't feel valued.
Right. That's it.
And
That's it.
I said a little prayer for him. I was like, you know what? Please let this person know that he is
Mm.
spiritually valued, please,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing that's going to break through this hard nut. And I
That's
left
it.
it. I was able to identify the root of the issue, say something nice for him,
Mm-hmm.
and leave it
Yeah.
so that I'm not holding on to it and I'm not holding
Right.
on to any of his darkness that he's trying to share with me.
Right. Right. At the end of the day, those types of people, it's if you dig deep enough, it's just a really sad tragedy. It's
Mhm.
somebody that is hurting. It is somebody that does not feel valued. It is somebody that has had traumas and issues that they have not been willing or able to resolve. But again, the separate is that doesn't mean that we need to subject ourselves to emotional abuse in
Right.
any way, shape, or form just because we can understand where it comes from. But people struggle with that. Particularly those people because I find that they will label it as judgment. It's not judgment just because
Mhm.
something is happening. Like I cannot judge somebody and also not be willing to take that type of treatment or be in that relationship or not have
Mhm.
boundaries around that. But very often that's the last ditch manipulation is that's like you're just being judgmental and that's not really the case, but it's the last
No,
bastion.
that never works with me. So what I tell people when I set my boundaries and they push back, I tell them this is radical self-love. You should try it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You are not allowed to speak to me in this way. And if you want to, then we just won't talk. And that's just the deal.
Mhm. Yep. So I'm convinced that radical self-love is what changes the world, not people pleasing, not any of that
Yes.
stuff, but radical self-love where you're willing to set the boundaries to create the right environment for yourself and a healthy environment for
Right.
yourself. There's no way that I can show up in the capacity that I do in such
Right.
huge ways that I do for my world
Right.
if I didn't practice radical self-love.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I'm okay with people perceiving me as an asshole. I'm okay with
Yeah.
people perceiving me as the villain in their
Yes.
story. I am
Yes.
okay with that. And that's where people get tripped up when they
They
think
do.
about setting boundaries. They're like, but what if I'm the villain? Who cares? Be the
Right.
villain. Like
Right.
it's either you sacrifice yourself
Right.
or you set the boundary and become the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay if people perceive me as their villain.
Yeah. A lot of people fail to recognize that the villain has to do with the point of view of the narrator. And the
Mhm.
villain in the villain story is the hero.
That's true. Very true.
All comes down to the point of view of the narrator.
Mm, definitely. Well, I have so appreciated this conversation. I want to make sure that we go ahead and close the interview before we run
Yeah.
off onto too many bunny trails, but
Sounds good.
I'm sure we can have you back and have some more conversations because we can talk for days and hours and like yeah, the alignment is there, which is really super cool. So I'm grateful for the conversation and thank you for being willing to explore an off topic with me that isn't
Yeah.
like super common, but yeah, how do we use our darkness in business to help us? Like it's possible as long as you know how to use it
Right.
in the
Right.
right ways and you know how to use it effectively and you're not popping off emotionally. That's where it gets sticky, is if
Right.
you react from emotion instead of wisdom. So, what I do
Yeah.
is I filter my darkness through wisdom, and then out comes the information.
Right.
So, it
You
worked.
also you can't identify anyone else that has darkness unless you know your own. Some of the most easily fooled people are those who are hiding from themselves. Because when you can't
Mm.
see the darkness within you, very easy for those around you to hide and be a chameleon, and you can't see what's coming.
Mm. That's true. Do you have a nugget of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience as we close?
A negative wisdom.
A nugget.
A nugget.
Nugget.
I was like, I don't know what that means, Misty, but nugget of wisdom I got. I
A
got that. I'm like,
nugget.
I haven't heard that term. I'm gonna need you to expound on that one for me. I would say, based on our conversation, that every part of you is good. It just needs to be properly employed. So there's no parts of you that are bad. There's nothing wrong with you. There might be things you've done you're not proud of, but there's nothing intrinsically wrong with you, which is a very, very big difference. Acting like an asshole doesn't mean you are an asshole.
Mm.
Being flying off the handle doesn't mean that you are uncontrolled. There's a very big difference between identity and action. So every part of you is valuable and has its place. We just need to use it in the right place. So sometimes when you're extremely powerful and you're in a position where you are good at confrontation, you need to be careful when you're using that in your intimate relationships with your family, because that's not really where it is. But it is when there's injustice happening. There is when there's manipulation happening. There is when there's a fight against someone more powerful than you. If you're great at empathy and you're great with people, that is great for your family. But you have to make sure that when you're in a position to fight, you put yourself in a position that you can do those things. So there's nothing wrong with any way you are. And you don't have to be confrontational or non confrontational. You don't have to be any particular thing. Who are you? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What is your light and your darkness? And just understand that and then put yourself in a position so you can use it to your benefit.
Mm. I love what you said. I'm going to quote you. Every part of you is valuable.
Yeah.
Your light, your dark, everything in between, every part of you is valuable.
Yeah.
And mic drop. We're going to leave it there, you guys. I know that you've enjoyed this conversation just as much as I have, hopefully more. But if you want to get in touch with Anthony, how do they do that?
So the typical way, you should go to sparkachangecoaching.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Spark a Change Coaching. I got a great newsletter. I think it's great. You tell me if it's not, email me, but I think it's some good stuff in there. I think it's worth signing up for. If you want, you can text me. Almost no one does, but I've given my number out to tens of thousands of people. But my personal cell phone is 631-327-2241. It's my real number. And I've given it out all over the place. Very rarely is someone going to escalate, but if you have a question or I could be of service to you, feel free, call or text me.
Brave soul for giving out your personal phone number.
Do you know how few people reach out to me, Misty? I've had one crazy person reach out to me, and I don't even know if that's how they got my number. The chances of somebody having the guts to text or call me is so small that the fact that they do means it's important.
I like that. Well, my business number is everywhere, so people have access to that. But yeah, good on you. And you know what? That psychology does fit. So, all right, you heard it there. If you guys have the cojones to reach out to Anthony, please do so.
I dare you. I dare you. Love to speak.
Love to. Even if you want to argue with him about something, like reach out.
I love it. I'm down for an argument anytime.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being an awesome guest. And
Thanks
we
for
look
having me.
forward to having you back.
For sure. And if anyone, before we go, reach out to Misty. She does a lot of work for this. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. And I'm sure that there's hundreds and thousands of people that hear this and get tremendous value. And if you don't tell Misty, she doesn't know. So if you've heard any podcast that's been valuable, definitely reach out to Misty. Let her know that what she's doing makes a difference for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. We will see you soon. Thank you for being a great audience.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Mind podcast. Please be sure to download the Wealthy Mind app today and make sure to support your local Dress for Success.